Imagine dedicating 7 years of your life to someone, only to find out they've been betraying you all along. What would you do? Cry? Forgive? Or would you take revenge so powerful that the world would never forget? Today, I'm going to tell you a real spine-chilling story of a wife's ultimate revenge against her cheating husband.
Marriage is often seen as a bond of trust, love, and companionship. But what happens when that trust is broken? What happens when betrayal cuts deeper than any knife? Tonight, I'm going to tell you a story of love, lies, and ultimate revenge. Meet Rachel and David. On the outside, they looked like the perfect couple. They had been married for 7 years, lived in a beautiful suburban home in Texas, and shared countless pictures of their happy life on social media. Friends admired them, neighbors adored them, and everyone thought they were living a fairy tale marriage. But behind those closed doors, things were far from perfect. Rachel had started to notice small changes in David. Late-night work meetings that never added up, his phone always flipped upside down on the table, and the way he suddenly guarded his messages like they were top-secret files. At first, Rachel told herself she was overthinking. After all, David was her husband, the man she loved, the man she trusted. But then, one night, while folding laundry, Rachel found a receipt in David's pocket. It wasn't for groceries. It wasn't for gas. It was for a luxury hotel room, booked on a night when David had told her he was working late. Her heart sank. The walls of trust she had built for 7 years came crashing down in an instant. She could have confronted him immediately, but Rachel wasn't just heartbroken. She was furious, and that fury quickly turned into a plan. Rachel decided to play along. She acted normal, smiled at David, cooked his favorite meals, and pretended to believe every single lie he told her. She wanted him to feel safe, to think he had successfully fooled her. Meanwhile, she started gathering evidence. She tracked his location through his phone. She took screenshots of suspicious messages, and she even followed him one evening, discovering him at a restaurant with another woman. That woman's name was Emily, a younger coworker from David's office. Rachel didn't cry that night. Instead, she smiled, because the seeds of her revenge had just begun to bloom. For the next 2 months, Rachel prepared carefully. She made financial moves behind David's back, transferring money from their joint account, consulting a lawyer, and making sure that when the day came, she would not just take revenge emotionally, but financially too. But Rachel wasn't done yet. She wanted David to feel the same betrayal she had felt. So she set a trap. On their 7th wedding anniversary, Rachel suggested they celebrate with a small gathering at home. She invited close friends, neighbors, and even some of David's coworkers. David thought it was a sweet gesture. He had no idea that the night would destroy him. The party started beautifully. Laughter, wine, music. Rachel gave a heartfelt speech about marriage, about love, about loyalty. David smiled, pretending to be the perfect husband in front of everyone. And then it happened. Rachel pulled out a projector remote and said, "Tonight, I want to share some of the best memories of our marriage." The lights dimmed, and the projector lit up. At first, pictures of vacations, birthdays, and sweet moments played on the screen. Everyone smiled. David relaxed. But then, the slides changed. The pictures weren't of Rachel and David anymore. They were of David and Emily, holding hands, kissing, and walking into that same hotel he thought Rachel didn't know about. The room went silent. Guests gasped. David's face turned pale. Rachel stood in the center of the room, her voice steady, as she said, "This is the man I trusted. This is the man who betrayed me. And tonight, I am done pretending." David stammered, tried to explain, but no words could save him. Friends looked at him with disgust. Neighbors whispered, and his own coworkers shook their heads in shame. Emily, too, happened to be present, invited by Rachel under the pretense of a surprise party. She fled the house, humiliated. But Rachel's revenge didn't end with humiliation. The very next morning, David received divorce papers. Rachel had already taken control of their assets, ensured the house was in her name, and with the evidence she had gathered, the law was entirely on her side. David not only lost his marriage, but also his reputation, his money, and even his job because news of the scandal spread quickly through his workplace. As for Rachel, she walked away stronger, freer, and with her dignity intact. She turned her pain into power, her betrayal into justice. and the message she left behind still echoes for everyone who hears her story. Cheat on a good woman.
But Rachel's revenge wasn't the end of the story. After the humiliating anniversary night, David's world began to crumble faster than he ever imagined. Word of his affair spread through the community like wildfire. Neighbors avoided him, friends stopped returning his calls, and even his own family expressed their disappointment. At work, things got worse. David had been a respected manager in his company, but now whispers followed him everywhere. His coworkers, many of whom had been at the anniversary party, could barely look at him without judgment. Within weeks, Emily requested a transfer to another office, embarrassed and desperate to escape the scandal. And David? He was quietly asked to resign. No job, no respect, no wife. Meanwhile, Rachel thrived. Instead of letting the betrayal destroy her, she used it as fuel. She sold the painful memories, their wedding photos, his gifts, his clothes, and redecorated her home into something fresh, something that was truly hers. She started taking classes she had always postponed, exploring painting and yoga, and reconnecting with friends she had lost touch with because of David's controlling behavior. One day, Rachel received a call from Emily. Nervous and hesitant, Emily apologized. She admitted David had lied to her too, telling her the marriage was already over, that Rachel was clingy and toxic. Rachel listened calmly. She wasn't angry at Emily anymore. She realized David was the manipulator. Rachel ended the call with just one sentence. "He fooled both of us, but I won't let him fool me again." Months passed, and David tried desperately to win Rachel back. He left notes at her door, begged for forgiveness, even promised to change. But Rachel never responded. She had already signed the papers, taken her freedom, and closed that chapter of her life. The final blow came when Rachel shared her story online, not out of spite, but as a way to help other women see the signs of betrayal and take back their power. The post went viral. Thousands of women related to her pain, praised her strength, and even reached out for advice. Rachel became a quiet symbol of resilience. David saw the post too. For him, it was like salt on a wound that would never heal. He realized too late that Rachel wasn't just his wife. She had been his anchor, his partner, his only real chance at happiness. And now she was gone forever. Rachel, on the other hand, had never felt stronger. She learned the hardest truth. Sometimes betrayal breaks you, but sometimes it sets you free. Her revenge wasn't just about exposing David. It was about reclaiming her life. And as she looked toward her future, Rachel whispered to herself, "The best revenge isn't destruction. The best revenge is living better than ever."